time to tantalize your earbuds with creative makers and shakers. It's Creative Living, the podcast with Jane Klaus.
This is Creative Living, the podcast, and I'm Jane Klaus. Thanks so much for joining us today. I just love having you here. And because I love having you here, I am going to kick things off with some good news for you people. Look at that. We are like 45 seconds into the show, and you're already getting a payoff. Okay, here it is. Did you know that just by doing 30 minutes of a creative activity a day will actually boost your overall health and wellness? And I'm talking about anything creative: cooking, writing, sewing, painting, rehabbing, pottery, designing. Did I say writing? Yes, I did. Creative writing. All right, true story. Here's why. Because studies have shown that crafting actually reduces anxiety, depression, and lowers your stress levels. So that means your breathing slows down. You get into a meditative state, and your thought process is focused, which means your mind and body are calm. And when that happens, your body releases feel-good hormones called dopamine, which brings happiness and joy to your life. How about that? All good reasons to get creative. And when I think of happiness and joy in my life, I think of my guest today. She is the craft expert on the Home Shopping Network and a ray of sunshine, everybody. Please welcome to the show, Beth Kingston. Hi, Beth.
Oh my gosh, sister. I miss you so much.
I love having you on the show. Truly,
I'm so excited.
You must be really healthy because you are so creative.
I feel pretty good. And it is funny because I was just having this conversation. Well, I've had this conversation a bunch of times, especially over the last 2 years. It does you so much good to just do something fun for you, to like get out the crayons or the paint or the scrapbook paper or whatever. And it has legitimately saved people's sanity, I think, over the last couple of years. So I am grateful for it.
The trend was that because we were home, so many people were bringing out the scrapbook paper and getting crafty and creative.
What this taught people is, there are so many different, just like you were listing all the different kinds of creative things. There's knitting, crocheting, watercolors. There are so many things that I think this helped people realize, oh, I might love crocheting. Maybe I'll try embroidery, or maybe I'll try, macrame. And it's helped people remember to be creative, and then also notice there are 70,000 other things they can try. So I think people are still going to be doing it, especially like you can knit on a plane, or you can take your watercolors with you on vacation. So I think people are going to have integrated it more into their lives, and can just take it when they travel and take it on vacation. And heck yeah, girl. Yes.
Well, and we all want to be healthier too. And for me, I find, but it's that getting over the hump of getting started. I'm like, I dread it. I don't want to start. And then I get started, and then I'm totally in flow, and I'm in that meditative state, and my mind is calm, and I'm like, I'm in it.
Yes. And my job title is craft expert, but that is hardly a thing, because, for example, I didn't know how to sew, but 2 months ago, I started taking an online sewing class, and I legitimately, the first week, was like, I can't do this. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to break my sewing machine. And just my first project was not great, but I finished it, and I was like, holy cow, I did this. And it just made me more excited about learning more. And I felt good. I think if we get over the perfectionism of our general lives, creating is the way to let yourself to discover some things about yourself, like what you're really passionate about or what you're really good at. My mom took up watercolor out of nowhere. And she's amazing at it. But how would she have known that if she didn't try it for the first time? That's what I think is so cool.
You got to try it. And I like you said, that sense of satisfaction you get when you made it yourself. And the other cool thing is showing people what you made, and they go, oh, where'd you buy that? Like your mom's watercolor or the thing that you sewed. You're like, oh, I made it.
That's right. And it's become, with the influx of, like, look at how much Etsy has grown over the past couple of years. People care more now about whether things are handmade, and they prefer, I know a lot of people who prefer handmade gifts, right? I don't need another whatever from Target, But, oh, you made me this pillow, or, oh, you made me this mug. That's what people are really excited about getting. So it's just like a full circle moment.
Yeah,
It's the best ever.
I love to give, if somebody has something on a register or they want something and I have to store buy it, I love to give the gift of handmade to go along with it. So I tell people, if you feel like you don't want to just give them handmade because maybe they don't appreciate it, I always do both.
Right. Yes. Even if it's just like the hand lettering on the tag for the gift you put out. Yes. No, I'm totally with you. It's the greatest thing ever.
Just a little something. I love and I appreciate handmade, and I love and appreciate handmade gifts so much because they're one of a kind and they're unique. What do you tell people, Beth, who say, I'm not creative? I can't do it because I'm not creative.
So I think, so I just had friends with their 5 kids over here last weekend. And one of the things, watching their children dig into my studio and just have their way with all my craft supplies, it helped me remember we put that sort of lock on ourselves as adults. Kids don't care. Kids don't care if their paint mixes together, if they draw out of the lines. Adults put that limit on themselves. And so saying you're not creative, I think, is sort of a falsehood because everybody has it in them somewhere, whether it's drawing, whether it's writing, whether it's woodworking. Cooking is another perfect example. Don't say you're not creative if you're an amazing cook, because that is creativity at its essence. So I think people have equated the phrase creativity with crafts, like sewing, scrapbooking. If you are doing something with your hands, with your voice, with your, whatever, that is creative. It's just I think people don't give themselves enough credit and think of the word creativity too narrowly, because everybody has a talent. It's just a matter of figuring out what it is.
Amen, sister. I love all of that. That's what I preach every single day.
Yes.
Right, it's all of it. It's people get so upset when you're like, crafty, because they think of their grandma's Kleenex box or something like that. But that's not.
Yes.
That's not just the box that you're putting crafting in. It's all of creativity. So when did you know you were crafty? Like, were you a kid?
Yes. So as I just mentioned, my mother just randomly took up watercolor. It is amazing. But she's also a potter, and she also does embroidery. My grandmother made all of my Barbie clothes when I was young, and I still have them, like hand stitched all my Barbie clothes. So I come from a long line of traditionally creative women. And so I don't have any memories like of holidays. Easter eggs, we used to do the string. You'd wrap the string around the balloon and then pop it, and that would be like it. So my earliest memories are of doing crafts of every possible kind. And again, some of them probably were not amazing, but we did different kinds so that I could get a feel for what I enjoyed. And I think, again, for people raising children, that's a gift. Let them try the different things. Don't worry about the mess.
Yeah.
Those are some of my best memories.
Don't worry about
the mess.
I'm a mess worrier, which even in my studio, we know studios are not supposed to be clean, people. They're not clean.
Right.
They're messy and not even messy. They're just like an organized mess. But
chaos.
I'm a worrier of mess. But at the same time, guess what? It gets cleaned up. No big deal.
Right. Lay down some newspaper and have at it. It's totally fine. Everything's going to be fine.
So like you, Beth, I grew up in a home with a lot of creativity, but I also grew up where having a career being a creative artist was not something you would do. Like in college, my parents were like, that's great that you love to make scrunchies, Janie, but you're going to get a haircut and then you're going to put a suit on and then you're going to go have a real career. So it wasn't like back then having a career in crafting wasn't a thing. So I know you didn't start off this way. You were doing something else. What was your journey?
I was a social worker for many years. So I worked in gang intervention, and that was my life's passion because I grew up in DC. And so that's sort of where my career started. And then my husband, Don, was in the military. We moved around to different cities that also had gang problems. And so I was able to find a job sort of everywhere I went. Social work was everything I wanted to do with because the same. my mom was very creative, but both my parents had great jobs and I was raised to be of service to others. And so that's the kind of job I chose. And there is no way, there's no way, especially, 30 years ago, that I could have been like, I'm going to sell crafts on television. And someone would have thought that was a legitimate job. So that's how I started. And then through a series of circumstances of moving and the war kicking off and all that kind of stuff, I had to stop working. And a friend of a friend of a friend was starting a scrapbooking company. And my minor was in marketing. And she was like, I can't pay you, but if I give you scrapbook supplies, will you help me with the marketing of my company? And I said, sure. And then that company got bigger and I started getting paid. And then that company got bought by a bigger company and that company was on HSN. And that's how I got here. It's the weirdest journey ever, but everybody's journey is sort of crazy, right?
Isn't it great how things happen? I always say, like, you can't really plan for it to happen. It's just follow the path, because it's going to take you where it goes. Like,
right. Just be open to what comes. Yeah.
So let's talk about life as the craft expert at the Home Shopping Network. I mean, hello, best job ever.
I know. I am the luckiest person in the world. I say that I still can't believe I've been there. I think it'll be almost 15 years and I just can't believe it.
Okay.
I'm the luckiest human being alive.
For people who don't know, explain what you do as the craft expert on the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah. So HSN is a national live shopping channel. We have what are called craft days at least once a month on HSN, and it's a 24-hour period and a live TV. And in that 24 hours, I think the longest number of hours I've been on is 17 out of the 24 hours. I almost died. I almost died from tiredness. But usually where you're on like 9 or 10 hours or portions of an hour during the day, and you sell products from various companies. I've had Cricut was a client, Xyron was a client, Diamond Press, Caterpillar. I have my own line at HSN now, Kingston Crafts. So I'm just showing a variety of products, showing amazing projects that the designers come up with, talking to people about how they can't live without it because we all need more crafts in our life. But it's the coolest job ever. Those are my friends. The 15 years at the same company, the hosts are my friends, the other guests are my friends. It's a huge family, and it is just the coolest job I never knew was out there.
It's so awesome that you could keep that job for 15 years.
Especially moving around. Yeah.
Have you ever met a craft product that you didn't like, really?
Well, as I was saying that, I was thinking, because I've been there so long and because, for whatever reason I do okay over there. I have the gift of not having to sell anything that I don't believe in. Which is a real, I know that could easily be an issue, but only one time has it ever been an issue for me. And it wasn't the product. The product was great. It was the person that owned the product. But every other time it was a mansplainer. You know how we feel about mansplaining. But other than that, every product, every client, the craft industry is just such a great group of people who are so passionate about making people happy and bringing joy through the products they sell that it's like, it's a dream.
And
really
inspiring others to create. There's nothing better than that. I'm concerned though, because if I worked there, I would spend my entire paycheck on all the stuff on the channel.
So we have been, you are not wrong. We have been virtual for 2 years. So I've been filming HSN in my basement for 2 years. HSN is in Tampa. So I used to fly to and from Tampa and will be shortly. So HSN has, I'm not sure this is a secret, but I'll tell it anyway. HSN has what's called an emporium, which is the employee store. And when I tell you there are days where I spent more money at the emporium than I did from being on air, it's because it was clothes and crafts and makeup and jewelry and shoes, and it's like all at crazy prices. And I have spent my paycheck more than
I
more
want
than
to
one
go to the
occasion at the
Emporium, and I don't
Emporium.
even work
It is,
there.
oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, girl,
Wonderland, I
it's so
bet.
good. But yes, I mean, I am surrounded by the greatest craft supplies of all time and get to use them to make my own stuff. And the beauty of being at HSN is, I'm in one green room and somebody from American Crafts is in the next green room and somebody from Crafters Companion is in the next green room. And so we're sharing ideas. And besides being friends, we'll look at each other's projects and be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. How did you do that? Or, oh, I love that color. What is it? Or it's a really cool way to stay inspired and to get new ideas and to get motivated and excited about products and projects. And it's really, I can't wait to go back. I miss all my people.
I always say more is more and less is a bore. So I was
Yes.
cleaning my craft room
Amen.
yesterday, and I thought to myself, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Because there's lots of paper. There's like it could go from candle making to paper crafting to sewing to woodworking to just recycling glass jars and toilet paper rolls. So when it gets to that point in your craft room, what do you do? Do you purge or do you keep it all?
I purge, and I purge it generally to teachers.
Oh.
We have a Buy Nothing group in our town, which is sort of a nationwide organization that wants to reduce waste. And so I'll post on there and I'll say, if you're a teacher in a school that could use craft supplies, I've got this big box for you. Let me know. And I've gotten through quite a bit that way. Girl Scout troops are another great way. Yeah, oh my gosh, yes, I purge. I would be in an avalanche of supplies but of course, because you know how it goes, I will purge something and then 2 weeks, I'll purge glittery ribbon that I haven't used for 5 years. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be like, dang it, I need that glittery ribbon. But that's the beauty of having a craft store, many craft stores within a couple miles is if I really need it, I could go get another one. But
yeah, but how do you know when it's time to get rid of something? Like, is it kind of like your closet, the same thing? If you haven't worn it in 5 years, get rid of it.
I used to be a hoarder of scraps.
Yeah, that's
right.
me.
Like scrapbook paper scraps,
Yes.
scraps of ribbon.
Yeah.
When you know where it's going, as opposed to just putting it in a bag and taking it to Goodwill or whatever, where you don't know where it's happening. One girl I encountered and she said, I'm a first-year teacher. I teach second grade. Anything you can give me, I would love to have. As soon as she said that, and I knew I was going to be helping a new teacher sort of get a leg up, I purged stuff that I was on the fence about, or stuff that I was like, you know what? I don't need 200 pieces of blue pattern paper. I can just have 50 pieces of blue pattern paper. But I think when you know where it's going and it's going somewhere good, it gives you fresh eyes. Because like I said, I can always buy another sheet of blue scrapbook paper, right. But to be able to gift that to someone who can actually use it, again, bringing joy through crafting, which is the whole point of it all. And think about those little second graders making crafts. I mean, I just can't. I want to give them a whole craft room.
That's what I thought about when you were telling the story. I'm like, all those little kids with this blue patterned paper are so excited now because you're purging, but yet you're also donating and kind of just paying it forward, crafting it forward, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like we were talking about before, giving those kids the chance to be creative at a young age. If they have parents who don't have the supplies at home, you're sparking that love in little ones. And there's nothing better than that.
I think I might cry. Right? You're making me All right. I want to talk about all the Kingston crafts. So this is, well, okay. So I was going to say, this is new. It's new-ish in your world, right?
It is, because who doesn't launch a new business during the pandemic?
Exactly what I was talking about.
So it had been in the works for a couple of months. Like I'd been approached about doing it and I was like, yes, this would be amazing. And then March 2020 came. And so instead of being able to get together in person and go over colors and collections and patterns, we had to do it all virtually. And then supply chain issues, like it was just the craziest time ever to launch a brand. But we did. August 2020 was my first airing on HSN. We're now on we will be launching our 5th and 6th collection this fall. So it's scrapbook paper and embellishments. And we actually started a paper doll collection. And my goal in all of this has been to make craft products that are inclusive. And by that, I mean paper doll products with different kinds of hair and different skin color tones of cardstock so that people can make projects that reflect who they are and who they see when they look in the mirror, what their kids look like, what their neighbors look like, what their friends look like. So that was really the onus behind starting it. And also I just wanted to get back to basics, right? Bright, colorful paper, colorful patterns, easy to use products that could mix and match with stuff you've already got in your stash, because we all know we have big stashes of supplies. And people have been so kind, and the support has been amazing, and it's been a really awesome journey, and I'm super grateful for it. Another thing that I never thought would happen, to see my name on products that go out to millions of people all over the country it's pretty amazing. It's pretty incredible. I'm very lucky.
True, right?
Yes.
I mean,
I didn't even know to dream it. That's the thing. I never in a million years even would have dreamed it. So
who dropped the idea in your head?
A brand that was actually at HSN selling their own stuff had been watching me all day, and they were like, "You seem fun. You seem nice. Have you ever thought about having your own collection?" And I was like, "Ha ha ha, no." But then they kept coming back around, and we hammered out a deal, and that process was a huge learning curve for us. And and then COVID started, and we decided to go ahead with it anyway. And now here we are.
I think it's great. Now, I know you said you're selling it on HSN, but where else can we find it?
So we also have our own website. It's called KingstonCraftsShop.com. It's sold on scrapbook.com. We actually have a couple, which still blows my mind. There are a couple stores outside of the US. Like there's a store in Brazil that carries it. It's just the craziest thing ever to me. But yeah, scrapbook.com, KingstonCraftShop.com, and then HSN.
Can we get all the collections?
Well, some of them, because I'm real fancy, some of them have sold out already.
Oh,
I mean, some of them, like our first two, I think sold out like the first day I aired them, which was amazing.
You're what do I do now?
Yeah, that was exactly. I was like, so I don't know I don't know what to do with my hands. Like,
you're like, I just
so it's been a really
now I have none.
Right now I don't have any of that anymore. But that's been the learning curve, right? Because when you start something, you never know how it's going to be received. Everybody was home. I just never imagined it could go as well as it did. So that's been a learning curve in itself, but it's an amazing problem to have.
So I managed to grab you for 30 minutes in your spare time, because you really don't have spare time if you're on the air for 24 hours every couple of months. You're doing things out of the house. You're running a business, an empire, if you will.
Yeah.
What do you make and what do you like to make?
This sewing class that I just started taking, I'm sort of super excited about that. I also decided, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but fairly often when you do this sort of thing for a living, you don't do enough for yourself. You don't do enough just for fun. I started out in this business and sort of for fun doing scrapbooking because I love pictures and I love looking back on memories. And so during quarantine, I carved out a space in my studio and got out my old scrapbook supplies and finished my wedding album. Right, which is 20 years in the making.
Hello, I was with you filming a Craft Room Crash.
Right, and I think I was like, look, I need to catch up on my wedding album.
Yeah, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
I'm happy that
that's how long it took me. Thank you. But it took being like, okay, let's get real now. Like I could keep putting it off, or I could be like, this table right here is going to be for my scrapbook supplies, and I'm going to leave it out all the time. And if I have 5 minutes to walk by and work on a page or jot a little journaling note, I'm going to. And that's what did it. It was the 5 or 10 minutes every day or every other day. And it was a great way to like de-stress. If I was trying to work out a work problem, I'd go over to my scrapbook page and I'd add a couple embellishments, and that would help me free up, like you were talking about in the beginning. It frees your mind. It calms your body down. It lets you process more information. So it was a great relaxation for me. And now I can check that box.
Check the box. We love
Check
checking
the
boxes. Do you feel like because you work in this creative field and you're always doing demonstrations, you're putting blogs up, you're working with all the brands that you work, do you feel like you still want to make something? Because I do.
So every once in a while it's hard because it's almost like there's too many choices. Like, do I want to sew? Do I want to scrapbook? Do I want to make a card? Do I want to? But I sort of now that I've gotten into the scrapbooking vibe, I finished my wedding album. Now I'm going to move on to When We Lived in Savannah. And I'm just going to keep on keeping on. And it may take me 5 years to get that album done too, but I'm just going to keep on plugging away at it. And for me, the reason I love scrapbooking so much is because, I could preach about this all day long. Seeing pictures on your phone is not the same as flipping through an album. And I love looking at pictures and looking at, having memories and remembering the good times and thinking about the people in the pictures. So scrapbooking is like a 2 or 3-fold enjoyable activity for me because I'm getting to be creative, but I'm also getting to relive some of my favorite moments by looking at pictures. So I think I'm going to keep up with that. I think that's going to be my thing.
I love that. That's a great lesson.
It's so good.
Because we forgot about our photos. We just look at them on the phone.
Yes. And think about, so I have nephews. I have 10 nieces and nephews. My mom made scrapbooks for my 2 nephews and they're 19 and 15 now. And, 19-year-olds don't care about anything, in case anyone's wondering. 19-year-olds are too cool. But when they come to my mom's house, they both love to sit and physically flip through the albums of them growing up because their parents didn't have it. They've never seen physical pictures of themselves, except maybe 1 or 2 in their parents' house. To have an entire scrapbook dedicated to them that was made by someone who loves them so much, they will cherish that forever. And even as teenagers, they think it's cool. So that was a good eye-opener for me also, that how much people enjoy looking at pictures. And we just don't do it anymore.
And especially kids that are 19, they don't even know what a photo album is.
Right, that's right.
They're always just trying to enlarge the photo.
That's right. Yes.
Magazine.
Yes, exactly.
No, you can't do that. So no, that is a great word of wisdom for us just to remember.
Yeah.
To remember.
Yes. Remember to remember. Yeah. Even if you just go online and do one of those, there's 1,000 out there,
Yeah.
Insert 40 photos onto this website and we'll send you an album. Do it.
And then we'll create the albums and we have more stuff.
Correct. Correct. That's okay. Is it right? It's okay.
Leave us with your inspiration because you are a crafting celebrity. People see you, they love you, they want to know, how do you do it?
Oh, you're so nice.
I mean, really and truly. So people look up to you. They want to, you always give everybody a peek behind the scenes from all your social media. We're sitting in your home, which is your studio right now. Give us your words of wisdom on being creative.
I think it goes back to what you and I were saying in the beginning. Just do it. Just get out the paint. Just get out the markers. Put down some newspaper. Don't worry about the mess and let yourself be that 6-year-old child creating just for the creation of it. You never know what you will discover. Take a class, go to a friend's house, try something new, whether it's cooking or journaling or sewing or scrapbooking. Just try it and give yourself the grace to have some free time, to give yourself that chance to relax and just find the joy in it. I think for those of us who are very busy, I know you especially, it's hard to give ourselves permission to just do something for the pure joy of it. This is that thing. This, whatever creative pursuit you want to have, that is the thing. You can just do it for the joy of it. And that's a gift.
That is a gift. And that is why you are a ray of sunshine, because you just gave us that little bit of information and joy. Yeah. Beth, tell us how to find you on social media.
I am the Kingston home everywhere. You cannot escape me. Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Kingston Crafts is also on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, I'm the Kingston home everywhere. You can never escape me.
All right. I encourage everybody to follow, friend, like Beth at the Kingston home on all of the platforms because she is amazing. So nice. Beth, thank you so much for being on Creative Living.
Live better. creatively. For more inspiration, visit janeclaus.com. Thank you for listening.